But you know, even if I was already so afraid, I could not help but continue appearing before these hearings because I know that I wanted to complete the case. I wanted to see it ended. But unfortunately, almost near the end of the hearing, I was presented with a document by the defense lawyer. And then I was asked, Madam Witness, can you identify the signature appearing in the lowest portion of the document? And I said, yes, this is the signature of the chairman of the Commission on Audit. Can you please read the last two paragraphs of the letter? The letter was actually written by the chairman of the Commission on Audit. It was used as a document by the defense. And the letter said that I have no mandate to conduct an audit and that there was no audit report. So it was really very, very painful for me because it was like you're doing it as a private citizen and there is someone who's being paid by public money heading a government institution that's literally saying, you know, she's not mandated to conduct an audit and then there's no audit report. So it was really most difficult on my part. Actually, it was even captured in the transcript of stenographic notes that the witness turned emotional. Because who won't, right? It was as if I was the only one left hanging onto the back. And so after that, I thought everything was ended. I went back to consultancy, and then I got a permanent job at Asian Development Bank. So I started my fixed-term employment with ADB on October 2010. And then finally, on December 16, 2010, I was preparing for a costume party, and yet I was told, come on, you have to go home quickly and keep your children safe. I said, why? The general is free now. He was just freed after posting a bail of 60,000 pesos. So that's actually what we call to us the unraveling of the trail of the Garcia plea bargain. So sometime in December 2009, there was a rumor of a deal in the 303 million plunder case. We filed a plunder case in 2005, amounting to at least 303 million. But the Office of the Ombudsman kept claiming that there is no evidence and that the case is weak. And so they entered into a plea bargain, meaning to say that if the general is willing to turn in 135 million and post a bail of 60,000, that's very around $1,000, over $1,000, right? He will already be free. And so I was a bit uncomfortable with that. But then, you know, everything was done in complete secrecy. Nobody was able to get a copy of the document until after the Land Transportation Office, which was asked to turn over the properties, the cars of the controller, did ask the court to provide them with a copy of the plea bargain agreement. And it was only then that the plea bargain agreement became public. On the following presentation, you can see there was really an attempt to cover up any discussion on the plea bargain. Like, for example, okay, there is an entry in the second division logbook showing that he filed the manifestation and sentencing of the principal accused on the motion to withdraw information. However, no copy of the said manifestation could be found. And the media was like, you know, they were literally looking for any copy of the document. The former Ombudsman Marcelo requested for a copy of the plea bargain, but really we could not be given any document. And there were some sort of insertions on some of the document on the docket because they kind of inserted a schedule in the calendar that was not there the day before. So they really tried to hide it from the public, even the schedule of the hearings for the plea bargain. So we are all surprised that on December 16, he was allowed to file a bail of 60,000. And it was very uncomfortable for me and my family because I was already working with Asian Development Bank. I could not get out and, you know, participate in any political activity. I could not also grant any interview to the media. So I have then a big problem. But then, of course, I felt like I could not hide behind the comforts of an Asian of an ADB job will allow my people to be misled. And so I said that I have to get out. And so I granted an interview with Sestrilon. On January 21, 2001. I still remember my statement then. I said that I'm trying to come out because if only to prove before my fellow Filipinos here and abroad that not all Filipinos are corrupt and that not all working for the government are not willing to stand against corruption. So that's my statement. My decision really is just after issuing the statement and after providing the evidence, we will just kind of back out from the limelight and, go back to our private life. But of course, it is impossible. We were brought into the Congress and into the Senate hearing already. So as you can see in the pictures, I hope you can see them. So that's it. This is the first hearing that we have at the House. And you can see my hair. It used to be long, now it's cut short already. Unfortunately, or fortunately perhaps, my interview triggered a lot of expose and in fact pushed one whistleblower to come out in the open. And I'm referring to George Rabusa, who was formerly the budget officer of the former Comptroller of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. And it was a bit more explosive because what we actually shared is just the documentation of the audit that we have done. On the other hand, what he actually exposed before the media are the real liquidating papers, meaning the real thing that happened because he is part of the transaction. So from the time that Rabusa appeared in Congress, there were discussions on send of money of around $1 million and above, $2 million, $3 million being given to retiring generals. And it's very depressing for the soldiers because when we talk of foot soldiers, they are only receiving a salary of over $100 perhaps, and then a combat pay of 12 pesos and 50 centavos per day. And they are really poorly equipped. And then I wanted to share this comment with of the wives of the wife of the foot soldier when they said that while the wives of the general are shopping in US, are buying houses, they are literally looking for someone where to borrow money because they do not have rice to cook for the day. So that's exactly the kind of reality that they are facing in the Philippines. So there were lots of expose to the extent that the whistleblower also included the participation of our resident auditors in corruption in the armed forces of the Philippines, meaning to say that my very own auditors are part of the take. So I think in one instance, Colonel George Rabusa mentioned something like, while he is offering to give the auditor 1% of the converted or liquidated amount, the auditor refused to accept it because she asked for additional 1%, meaning to say a total of 2% of the entire intelligence fund that is being converted. And when we talk of 2% of entire intelligence funds, it can really amount to millions and millions of pesos going to the auditor, So it's like a picture of a send of money of over $1 million, and then 2% of the A&P funds going to the auditors. And so what else? So there was so much explosion, there's so much revelation, and we are really dragged into the controversy. And then there were so many attempts to destroy my credibility. At the level of the Commission on Audit, they are quite successful in making a picture of a Heidi Mendoza trying to destroy the integrity of a commission that they have painstakingly established for over 100 years. Saying something like, I am ashamed to the institution because I have caused them a lot of embarrassment. On the other hand, on February 8th, one of the chief of staff and a former defense actually committed suicide, right?
Yeah.
So this